If you're looking for a fun night out filled with side-splitting humor and have yet to visit Go Comedy Improv Theater, what are you waiting for?
Located in downtown Ferndale on 9 Mile, just west of Woodward, Go Comedy can amuse you and booze you with an array of live improv comedy specials and a full-service bar.
To learn more about this fun venue, we sat down with co-owner PJ Jaycokes.
So PJ, tell us how Go Comedy got its start.
Sure. So in 2007, I was working at the Second City when it was still in Detroit.
Okay.
And I'd been there for about 10 years and decided I was done with improv and all things comedy. So I sent an email out. I sent an email out. I was directing a show there, and it was like, this is the last time you'll ever see me begging for a show. I'm done with this business. And one of my former students, Gerald Knight, sent an email back that was like, or we could open our own place. So Gerald and I and Chris D'Angelo, who's one of the other partners here, had lunch at a Mexican restaurant out in Ann Arbor. And then by December of that year, we had brought on Tommy Leroy, who's our fourth partner. And the four of us started looking for venues in the Ferndale area.
What made you guys choose Ferndale for your location?
It was a no-brainer. I knew I wanted it to be here. My dad grew up here. I went to high school at U of D down the road, and I've lived in Ferndale for about 20 years, starting in '97. And I knew this is where I wanted it to be.
What's the big difference between stand-up comedy and improv comedy, and why did you decide to go the improv route?
Sure. So I went the improv route because it's where I started studying.
Okay.
It was '97, and I was in a band. And I hated being on stage, but I loved performing. So I took an improv class to try and loosen up. And by the time I finished the classes, I had gotten hired in as an understudy. And the same week, my band moved to Chicago, and I had to make that decision: do I stay in the music capital and do improv, or go to the improv capital and do music?
I was gonna say completely opposite ends.
But
and now that band is super famous.
Yeah. Oh, so huge. They're playing the Super Bowl tonight. Maroon 5. Yeah. No. It used to be Maroon 6, and I jumped out.
Well, see, you're lucky you got out.
Right. I was too pretty. So I took these classes, and I fell in love with it, and I've been doing it ever since. But the difference between the two, really, stand-up, there's a lot of trial and error. There's a lot of practice. I mean, you write jokes over and over again, and then you're up there by yourself. Really, if something goes wrong, you can look to your notepad or take a sip of water. But with improv, it's very much a team sport, and none of it is pre-planned. So, you come out on stage, you ask for, where are we? Can I have a location, or how am I feeling? And whatever the audience says sparks everything, which is super fun. I mean, it's part of why I love it, is that it's always fresh.
Okay. And you guys actually teach that here. You do classes, and you can kind of get people started on that skill building?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's Go You, the Improv Academy. Really it's just teaching adults to think like kids again, to not judge their own ideas, to kind of get out of their own way, just to go play.
Does it kind of take a couple of classes for people to kind of, like, what typically?
Is there any drinking involved?
I'm like, this sounds wonderful and horrible all at the same time. I'm like, what is this process like?
There was no drinking. We have a pretty strict policy on that, because I think a lot of people would certainly prefer to have drinking in it.
Oh, yeah.
But that sort of betrays the trust, right? You want to be on that same plane. Initially, it takes a couple of classes. By the end of like the second or third class, they're all sort of have learned to let go, and are ready to really play. Give us some examples of why someone would want to take an improv class. Oh, sure. First and foremost, the people that want to be on stage. This is still a performance art, but frankly, that's not even most of our students. We get we get a lot of students who, are shy and looking to get out of their shell. That's kind of how I started. But then also, we get lawyers and teachers who come in because they want to learn to think fast on their feet, because they're always talking in front of a group. It sounds like snake oil, but really it's a cure-all for a lot of social issues.
Yeah, never would have thought to make the connection, but now that you're explaining it, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So if people wanted to come check out a show, what are the different kinds of shows that you offered, and for different audiences and stuff like that? Yeah, so our main show is the Go Comedy All-Star Showdown. We've been running that since we opened. It's every Saturday at 8 and 10.
and that's like closest to like Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Okay.
And on Sunday nights we do what's called the Sunday Buffet, which does not involve food. It was a name
very misleading.
I've regretted that name for many years because people come all the time and wonder why there's not a buffet. But it's a comedy buffet, which is not clear, I guess, on the poster. And we have a show called Hot Takes that we do the first Thursday of every month, which is sort of the daily show with improv in it. And then every year, the second week of August, we have the Detroit Improv Festival, which we host out of here, but it's us and the Ringwald Theater and the Magic Bag, and
cool.
every year it gets a little bit bigger. But we have people from Saturday Night Live join us for it. It's awesome. It's a fairly well-regarded improv festival on the improv festival circuit.
Cool,
Awesome.
yeah.
We truly enjoyed our time with PJ, but before we left, we had one final request.
Armed with a better understanding of all that Go Comedy has to offer, we asked PJ to lead us through one of the games you might play while enrolled in a Go You improv class.
So here's what we're gonna do. This is an improv game called Dr. Know-It-All. The way it works is this: the two.
Liz will be good at this one.
Already, right out of the gate.
It's about trust, Peter. It's about trust. So the general idea is the two of you are a scientist so smart it takes two bodies to house your massive brain.
Okay.
Okay. So I will ask you questions about life, the universe, and everything, and you will answer these questions one word at a time, creating these sentences together. I don't need either one of you to think too hard about it. When I ask the question, you're gonna have an answer in your head immediately, but it's irrelevant what you both think because it's what about you think together. So let's give it a shot.
Sure.
All right, you're gonna be great. All right. So, Dr. Know-It-All, where's the best place to go on vacation in Michigan?
I
Really
want
to
go.
anywhere
My
mom
would
like.
also.
Great. So we're traveling with a parent. That's wonderful. Now let's just work on some specificity here.
Okay.
You work in literally real estate. Give me a city.
Okay. All right.
And again, there is no wrong answer, right? So let's
Okay.
start fresh. A new question, but eventually one of you's got to land on an actual answer.
We have to give you an answer.
Something, yeah.
Something.
Great. Another question for Dr. Know-It-All. When you're choosing a movie to go see, what do you look for?
I
Typically
look
for
something
with
a lot
of
violence.
and horse.
There you have it. What more could you want from a movie?
Right.
Violence and a horse? Perfect. Very nicely done, Peter and Liz. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. You know, we've had an awesome time sitting down and talking with you. Obviously, we need some more classes, and we're totally going to look into doing that.
Great.
So if you'd like to check out some classes or maybe a show, be sure to visit gocomedy.net to check out their schedule and information about how to get tickets.
And until next time, community.
Keep it real.
Hey you, and we're talking to you, person who made it to the end of our video. Thank you so much, it means the world to us.
It really does. And if you're looking to buy a home, check out realcommunityhometeam.com, where you can search homes in this area or anywhere in Michigan.
And if you're looking to sell, be sure to check out our Real Results marketing plan, which can maximize your return by weaving your home story into our community show narrative.
Also, do us a favor and click those like, share, and subscribe buttons.